Welcome to Dynamis. My name is Dan Morrill, and I'm the Director of Client Services here at Dynamis, and we are excited to get you ramped up into what we call dynamic plan design. So this first course is really going to set the stage for why we're learning this new process. We're going to talk about the industry's current renewal process, really what it looks like before Dynamis, then really talk through the employer perception of that process and how Dynamis really allows us to deliver to employers what they said they wanted. First thing to understand is access to the system. So we are a web-based system. You'll see at the top of the screen the URL that takes you to the login page. So since it's a web page, you can bookmark the login screen just like you would any other application. And we also have the ability to go to dynamiscorp.com. That's our website, www.dynamiscorp.com. And you'll notice in the upper right-hand section, you can find a link to the client login as well. So if you need to log in from your personal computer or tablet, or sometimes even from the employer's computer, you can always access the login page by going to dynamiscorp.com. Also want to call your attention to the support@dynamiscorp.com email address. This is a really important email, especially at the beginning, as that's going to be your first call for help from client services. That ensures the fastest response as the entire client services team is looped in on that email. And especially in the beginning, you're going to have questions. As you start building your first employers out, as you run into questions, we really urge you to contact support so that we can answer your questions and get you moving. It's all part of the learning curve. And while the tutorials will cover concepts, the real learning happens when you're entering in your own employer groups. So it's whether you have questions around building or entering information, or later if we need to review or prepare for actual presentations, again, support@dynamiscorp.com is going to be your fastest response. As long as we're on the web page, I really want to call your attention to our resources tab. And under our resources tab, you're going to notice we carry a lot of content. And these ebooks are really designed on incorporating concepts that we're going to learn through training and apply them to our day-to-day world, whether that's prospecting or sales, whether that's renewal or retention. These ebooks really help to incorporate how the concepts of Dynamis can apply to the things we do every day. As an example, we'll be talking about how to use an employer budget in a presentation and how powerful that can be. And it really represents a different approach when we incorporate in employer budgets. This ebook is designed all around those concepts. So whether we're calling on prospective clients and really want to differentiate ourselves by how we approach the whole renewal from a budgetary perspective, to trying to streamline renewal process by going in with the end in sight, this ebook addresses how budget-based benefits incorporate in. Now, in order to really understand why we're going through this process, why we're changing how we've done things, we really need to look at what we call the current industry renewal process. So this really speaks to the process that the benefits industry has used for decades to guide employers to decisions on plan designs they're going to offer employees. And if we really focus just on the process, the key element that we're talking about is using paper as the communication tool. That's how we walk through plan designs, spreadsheet after spreadsheet, 3-ring binders and folders, using that what we call static paper as the primary tool we use to communicate and conduct renewal plan design decision meetings. And if we think about how we normally present that information in our printed spreadsheet exhibits, normally it starts with, here are your benefits and what they cost. Here are the current plans you offer and how much they cost. Here is the renewal of those plans and what they cost, and proposed options and what they cost. Really presenting benefits relative to what they cost. And a lot of times it takes a couple meetings to narrow that down to our plans, and then if there's additional elements, maybe we're evaluating funding HSA accounts or using a health reimbursement arrangement. Those can be more meetings, more spreadsheets as they have implications on plan design. And then after plans have been decided, then we would circle back and talk about contribution strategy and how to divide those costs up. More meetings, more spreadsheets. And now we look at today's more complex market. We've got situations where we have the added complexity of age-rated premiums. Maybe we're looking at self-funding, more spreadsheets, fixed expected max cost, making our 3-ring binders full of spreadsheets bigger and more complex. And the whole reason it's really gotten that way is because of the technology that the industry has chosen to use to help employers make decisions, help model scenarios. We're using technology from the 90s when we talk about Excel spreadsheets. And the key is that there really isn't any differentiation in the process itself. We may think our people are better and that our spreadsheets are prettier, but in terms of using paper exhibits, primarily printed spreadsheets, to help guide through all of the components that go into renewal decisions, that's really been the same process across the industry, large and small agencies, coast to coast. So let's take a look at this technology that our industry is using. Right? The key is, first of all, that we're using Excel in a way it was never intended for. Excel is a data aggregator, right? That's a fancy word for where we enter information in. It was never designed as a presentation tool. There used to be a program long ago called Access, and that was the tool we used to present the information that we entered into Excel. The Access never really caught on, and we ended up just using our raw data in our spreadsheets and using that to present with. So these bullet points pull from a white paper that did a study on the flawed use of Excel spreadsheets in business applications. And you can see from the pitfalls, that first one probably hits close to home. Anybody who's done this long enough probably has their own nightmare horror story of spreadsheets gone wrong, and it's no wonder. We're usually under a time crunch. We're copying formulas from last year's template into this one. Now it's a triple option instead of a dual option. How does that copy over? All right, we're not software engineers. We're not checking every calculation. We kind of cross our fingers and hope that all our math is right. And when we're finding errors, it's after the fact. We really don't know how many errors go unfound. So in addition to all the other bullet points, we get down to the bottom. Incapable of supporting quick decision making. That's really the heart of the matter, is that with this complex decision-making process, the industry has really chosen Windows-based Excel, a technology that came out in 1993, as the means to help employers guide them to plan design decisions on renewal. And that's really where Dynamis comes in.